We're in dream match territory, ladies and gentlemen. NXT versus TNA. Gonna give you 10 dream matches in this video. Since the fact we could have a working relationship between the two companies, why not let's take this one step further and make a super show of matches that we thought we'd never see, that we would get to see, which can have a bit of fun on this video. Jordynne Grace, of course, has been a part of NXT recently. Of course, she'll be taking part on Battleground this upcoming weekend against Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship, whilst still being the TNA Knockouts champion. So that's pretty much all I need to turn around and say, let's have a bit of fun and put some matches together. So without further ado, we've got 10 matches to go through in total. Let's start off with the big one. Trick Williams, Whoop That Trick, taking on Moose. That's right, the two respective champions at the time of recording. NXT champion Trick versus TNA champion Moose. I'm down for this one all day long. I think Trick Williams has proven himself to be one of the most over characters and probably is the biggest face of NXT, which that's the key phrase I'm going to use here, the biggest face of NXT right now, because of course the draft did gut NXT quite a bit, took a lot of the top stars away. Trick Williams is definitely the face of that brand moving forward at present, especially being its champion against Moose, who is someone who's been arguably Mr. TNA, Mr. Impact Wrestling. He's been very loyal to the company since signing in 2016, I want to say, and of course he's now currently their world champion as well, leading the system and leading TNA moving forward. I think this is definitely a dream match of sorts. If you put the two companies together, I think it'll be a fun ride, would be a good match as well. Both are very underrated workers, I would say, both hard work ethic they've got. So yeah, I think this will be a good time to see, and a big heavyweight clash between the two as well. Next then, we're going to go into the archives of Impact Wrestling history and a bit of NXT history and mix it together here, because the trio known as the Rascals were a big deal. I'm going to do a triple threat match between all three. Of course, we had Trey Miguel, of course, who's stuck with TNA. I think he had a trial with NXT, but it didn't work out. He came back to Impact at the time, still part of TNA now, where Zachary Wentz, who his current tag team partner is. Of course, they are formed as the duo, the Rascals, right now, a heel duo, but of course Zachary Wentz was Wesley's tag team partner. Nash Carter in NXT was released, is back in TNA. Of course, Wesley was known as Desmond Xavier in Impact Wrestling. Are you keeping up with me with all these names at this point? I would simply do the triple threat. Sometimes when you have these Forbidden Door style shows, you sometimes put them all together as a trio and just mix and match it. I'm not doing that. I think that a lot has changed since then. Obviously, Wesley will miss his brothers, but at the same time, he is a good guy. They are bad guys. There's something you could do here with this, and obviously as a freeway, it just feels like a dream match to do. So for me, that's something I would personally want to see more than anything if there was some form of crossover. For me, it's the Rascals triple threat match. If speed is your thing and tag team wrestling is your thing, Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Wow, to be honest, I think I would need to watch this match in slow motion to keep up with it. Two very fast tag teams that are going to just wow a crowd. Honestly, Frazier and Axiom have been an amazing duo since they've been put together. I really enjoyed Austin and Bay, of course, as part of Bullet Club and just doing their stuff in Impact or TNA, of course, over this year as well. They've been tag team champions on multiple occasions. So yeah, just let these two teams tear the house down. I can promise you, dream match is for me on paper, but I think it would be a dream match in eyes if people made it a reality. Moving into X Division territory, Mustafa Ali. I'd like to see him against Javon Evans. Obviously, Mustafa Ali has a lot of history with NXT. He was released from WWE whilst being a part of the NXT banner. Of course, he had this new character that he wanted to debut. He had started doing so. He was released from the company. He's now carried on doing that on the independent circuit, or now into TNA as well. Obviously, he's gone to TNA, I think in, what was it, like No Surrender time was the time he came in originally. Javon Evans has just burst onto the scene in NXT. He's been one of the perfect high flyers in the company. I just like to see these two tear it up as well. It's just one of those things of put them in the ring, let them create magic, and I think the Mustafa Ali could actually have a lot of fun with his current character of, like, you know, we had plans to move me forward and I had plans to take over NXT, but now I'm actually representing the X Division, and you know, you're trying to come into my world. I just think you could have a lot of fun with the match. So yeah, for me, sign me up for this one. And speaking of storyline history as well, being released from NXT, Ash by Elegance have a go against Kalani Jordan, because those two were, of course, friends. Obviously, Ash by Elegance was trying to, as Dana Brooke, trying to elevate Kalani Jordan. She was her first way through onto NXT TV. Kalani's had to, find her way since Dana Brooke was not in WWE anymore. So the fact to bring them both together, Ash has got this new character, this new gimmick. You can play a good storyline with that. So I think this would be a good match you could put together. Let's go with some heavy hitters next. Obafemi against Hammerstone. I mean, simply Obafemi has been wowing audiences since he's come in. He's had mega matches in front of the NXT crowd, already North American champion. He's not been on the scene very long, and neither has Hammerstone with TNA, which is kind of my reason why I put these guys together. Originally, I thought Obafemi versus Josh Alexander, but I mean, Hammerstone is a bigger dude, just like Femi as well, and I just think, meat slapping meat, we need a bit of that action. Following this would be Joe Hendry against Joe Coffey, two Scotsmen, perhaps a battle over haggis, who knows, but Joe Hendry no doubt would have a song that would be very fitting for the occasion against Joe Coffey, and imagine they've got a lot of history on the British independent circuit as well, so you could play into that to make a battle here. Next, Ethan Page versus Josh Alexander, two former tag team partners, of course, the North and Impact Wrestling. Ethan Page did leave the company to go to AEW, and as said in his tandems he's had in the past, he's always not been the one that's been pushed heavily afterwards. Of course, Josh Alexander has gone on to become an X Division champion and a world champion in Impact / now TNA, and of course Ethan Page has not gone on to have that same success, so that leads to a story, potentially a bit of jealousy, also perhaps a proving ground for Ethan Page to show that he's on the same level as his former tag team partner. Josh Alexander seen as one of the best in-ring wrestlers in the world now, so Ethan Page, well, there would be something to live up to, and this would be a good grudge match between two former tag partners. Next, I would have the Good Brothers versus The System. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, of course, TNA Tag Team Champions. The Good Brothers, of course, had a period in Impact Wrestling TNA and were, of course, the Tag Team Champions for a lengthy period while there. It could just kind of be, this was our land when we were there, the Good Brothers, and they want to take it over once again. Eddie Edwards has been that name in TNA Impact Wrestling for over a decade, another arguably Mr. TNA, you could say, hence why I suppose they're part of the system together. Yeah, I think it's a good story to put together a great tag team match between these four combatants. Next, I would have Lola Vice of NXT against Giselle Shaw. Two fantastic characters, two up-and-comers as well. I think two very bright names who've got bright futures in the game as well. So I'd put them head-to-head in a clash here of pretty much who's going to be the breakout star of the future. As I say, big fan of both of their work, and I think they would actually really tear it up. So that's my 10 dream matches there for NXT versus TNA. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What matches would you want to see if you did a NXT versus TNA Super Show? I didn't include Jordynne Grace or Roxanne Perez since they are facing one another at Battleground. It is the match I would pick, so that's why I didn't include them in other options on this video. But if you've enjoyed it, make sure to like, share with a friend, subscribe as well. Check out these videos on the side of your screen right now, and I'll see you for the next video.